daily. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 10th of January. So the Euro finally did it. It broke out the highs here. Looks like it could be heading towards the daily 200 at this rate, maybe even more. We may actually see it running back towards these highs that we saw in 2009, maybe in September 2009. We may even see greater than that. If you come back to the weeklies, there's the highs of September. Well, there is scope to continue pushing on. The weekly 50 sits there at 1758. I think that's around about where the it's a bit higher than the daily 200 there. So similar-ish, but anyway. There are some points upside it may want to tackle. Now, what for this morning then? Well, it's just curling around a little bit. Oops, let's just get different. There we go. Bit of divergence running into the absolute highs there at 330. Got the daily pivot below now. It's still got a probability of being hit, so would be watching for that this morning. If it continues breaking down, it would be target wise an opportunity, but and that 30-minute 50, actually I'm on a 30-minute chart here. Let's just have a look on the 60 as well. There we go, 60-minute. Okay, so 60-minute 21 may come in before then, but it does look reasonable for the a move down to the pivot. Where from there? Well, if it's going to continue in this mode, we would look for support from, well, as I said, there's a 21, or there's the pivot, which both could be points where we could see some support coming, although as you see through those time frames, the two time frames here, the 30-minute and 50 is just above that pivot. So certainly some possibilities there in terms of support for continued upside if that's going to run. Now we have got at 12:30 the minutes of to see what they were lying about. What they were talking about at the last ECB meeting. So at 12:30, so we've got the meeting minutes there. If anything's different to what was said, I would expect some volatility, but in the past, with one exception where there was a damn right lie spoken, not that I remembered it, but apart from that time, we've not really seen a lot of movement from these minutes. So aside of that, we've got the Fed chair speaking at 5:45. Now he has already spoken last week, what was that, Friday he spoke, but he is speaking again at 5:45, and there's a Bullard as well speaking who hasn't spoken just before him at 5:40. So it's going to be late in the day, but they are speaking, and it may see a slower afternoon, but a bit of late price action if you're around. Right, okay, so that's the euro. Pretty much higher lows, higher highs, as has been saying for a day or two. Now pushing through, but watch out for the retracement here. Okay, the pound. I'm still big time bearish on the euro, I should just point out, but I do acknowledge that it will have retracements. Right. The pound. Right, so what with the pound then? It too has had a reasonable push up. Hasn't pushed up through its recent highs. It had that pitch up in December there, for the 1st of December, where it pitched up and broke all the recent highs. So not quite as strong in that respect, and quite rightly so. With Brexit hanging over it, you would expect it not to be quite so bullish in a sense, but it still had a good run all the same. And well, probably on different indicators here. There you go, bit of divergence kicking across on the MACD there. Weekly pivot still untouched. Whether that gets hit, we'll see, but it's already through its daily pivot today. It needs a bit of negative sort of comments to come out, which could easily pitch it to the south side, but it's back to that state with the pound where we seem to get some positive comment by the press somewhere, and it spikes up. We saw it is the reasoning behind this sort of move yesterday. Yesterday, that was Monday even, spike up there, and you see these sort of spikes coming through that sort of news. Of course, this is more down to the FOMC speakers yesterday, but Either way, we just got to watch for it, but it is heading south, or more southerly of them. But bigger, say intermediate direction here is still bullish. Big term direction is still bearish, so it's a bit of a mixture there. But got potential. Dollar yen, the quandary. Okay, so that has strengthened a little bit more, as would have been expected with the others running up. Hasn't obviously taken out that spike that's there, and that remains potential at some point for it to run all the way back to that, I guess. Today, well, it too is it's got some divergences, double divergences running across on the RSI here, and it could pitch up towards its daily pivot at some point. Now, as I say, all these markets there, they probably just need a bit of a breather. But if bullishness continues in them, well, they'll roll, of course, on the yen here, and the euro and the pound will continue to push up. Aussie dollar pushed up yesterday, got through its monthly pivot when it eventually comes. There we go. Closed into the 50 there and pulled back off that a little bit. Now this is, as I said in the big picture in the beginning of the week there, it needs to break this area. If it can break this area, then we'd be looking for the daily 200 and maybe even further. So it's got some potential there on a bigger picture for a bit more of a retrace. Nothing news-wise coming out for it today, so apart from obviously the Fed stuff this afternoon, so it's free to roam, but it's a bit squashed and squeezed with that spike in there. It's just nice to move that out of the way. It's already hit daily pivots, etc. Looks a bit ugly at the moment, maybe, but at some point, if it breaks these highs, well, then as I said, it needs to break through that daily 50 really to be a bit more bullish, but it has the potential there. Canadian dollar, well, that saw the price of oils helped that as well, and well, nothing really has hindered it at the moment, but it is pushing up a bit this morning. Just looking across the time frames here, so but maybe a bigger retracement back towards that 4-hourly 21s needed, just as a bit of a breather. It's back into its 60-minute 50 at the moment. If it can push through that, well then, as I say, 4-hourly 50 is potential on that to the upside, but bigger. It's really a case of looking for sell points, and you could be looking at the 60, 100. As I said, the 4-hourly 21, the 34. There's a few areas where you may be looking to sell into this. Okay, for the continuation to the downside, that will be okay. That's it. News-wise, as I already said, you've got ECB at 12:30, 5:40, and 5:45. We've got two Fed speakers. The 5:45 being the most important, with the chair speaking then, and then you've got at 6 o'clock we've got another Fed speaker, FOMC Evans. So there we go. Have a great one. Bye for now.